Lions fall to 1-3, 27-14 to the Bully Bombers yet again. Exasperating, excruciating, infuriating, and downright nauseating. Let's exasperate, pontificate, and deliberate. Up next with the Bros. Leo's Legion, 3 Down Bros here, Arthur, Roland, and Greg to talk about the Lions' loss to the Bombers, 27-14. You know what? The Bombers have been our schoolyard bully for quite some time now. And I got to say, the Lions stood up a little bit better. But to me, to this bro, still willingly handed over the lunch money. Let's talk about this one starting with Roland.
Yeah. So if you're online with us, welcome. Glad that you're able to join us. As usual, let us know your thoughts. Whether you agree or disagree with anything that we say, and we'll put your comment up on screen, and we'll banter that way. So it's always fun doing that. But yeah, my initial thoughts. Very very frustrating because it was a very winnable game. We had so many lost opportunities. Big picture, right? The defense did enough to keep us in the game. Had we had a better offense, being able to score from the red zone, and not turning the ball over, we probably would have won. Winnipeg was not playing their best game, and this was a huge opportunity, but we squandered it. So very frustrating. Arthur?
Well, first of all, Lions are 1-2. I know it's a terrible loss, Greg, but yeah. But and
Well,
it might be a little forced.
Riders are coming up. Sorry, I went a little ahead, but I had Riders in my head.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I know what you're saying it might be a little bit foreshadowing, and I'm gonna probably agree that it's gonna be a 1-3 record in a week's time, but we're not there yet. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I totally agree. Definitely a winnable game by our hometown team. Yeah, I thought defensively they really stopped the run.
Yeah.
And they really shored up big holes on defense. And I think defensively they've played a pretty good game, and definitely could have won if there was some complementary football. We talked about that, right, guys, before. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. We're gonna dive into a lot on the offensive side. Unfortunately, just definitely nowhere near good enough.
Yeah.
To beat a top team in the West.
Yeah. I do agree with you guys. The Bombers did not play their best on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively, they still looked Winnipegish. I mean, was it our game plan or was it the execution of this game plan that just couldn't get it done? I mean, yeah, no finish, but what was the biggest reason to that no finish, do you guys think?
You talking about offense or defense?
Yeah, offensively. Defensively, I was worried it was like, oh, here we go again on that opening drive. But like Arthur said, the defense, they kind of showed up a little bit better after that drive.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of first down runs that were ripped off, but I think they stood up pretty good to the bully defensively.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, other than those couple big runs, for the most part, we held their runs to like 2-3 yards, right? Maybe 4 or 5, But our run stopping was pretty decent. Zach was not his normal Zach. I don't know, I don't know if there's a lot of pressure on him, but he wasn't throwing well, so that was good on us. But yeah, offensively, we just could not finish. We would march down and then we would make mistakes. Mazzoli had so many high passes. He would be scrambling, and the moment he starts scrambling, he would force the ball, and then it would be high. The first few ones okay, but it seemed like consistently throughout the game, he was doing that whenever he was under pressure. He was there was that one, right, a very key one to Butler. That was a lateral. Butler couldn't squeeze it in, and they ran it in for a touchdown. Man, that that sucks the life out of you, right? Those types of plays, those types of mistakes just can't happen.
Absolutely. And I mean, you kind of think, that almost reminded me of that stand back fumble, incomplete, that bounced around off of him and it was run back for 6. But Butler, I mean, he's generally, that's one of his his strengths is receiving, right? His hands coming out of the backfield. I don't know, was he looking upfield to run before that ball got there? And then was he caught off guard that he dropped it? It was like, crap. But then realized, oh, wait, it's a lateral, and then reacted too late. Gave up, didn't even try to chase that guy down.
I mean, okay, Mazzoli should not have lateraled. I mean, it was a bonehead play. It was a panic move by Mazzoli.
It was.
Okay, you don't want you don't want to get hit. You don't want to get hit. I mean, was it 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6? You can try to gut out a first down, or you go downfield. But he kind of escapes the pocket through a gap, I think, and then he looks over, he sees Butler, and just threw it at him.
Yeah.
And then Butler is covered.
Yeah.
There's no way that Butler would have gotten the first down. So Butler was not ready for this pass.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it did hit his shoulder.
It was a bit behind him too, but your point is very well made. He under pressure, his first instinct is to get rid of the ball. But you got to think better, like what you said, right? You're getting rid of it, but he's not going to get a first down anyway, or he won't get. He was ahead of Butler. That's why it was
it's
a lateral.
Dangerous, dare I say, reckless play by our quarterback.
Yeah.
To put our running back in a tough. Yes, he should have, but it was kind of like when you're close and you gun it, right? He kind of threw it behind and it hit his shoulder pad. So.
Yeah, because
you're down here. You're maybe you're gonna engage the block, and then you're if you're gonna try to catch, you're gonna go up. I mean, it's a hard catch. Yeah. So he kind of. I mean, it's short distance too. I mean, you got to have better accuracy. I mean, honestly, if you're just looking at it as the lateral pass, you have to have better accuracy.
Yeah.
Than that, right? If you want to get a first down, ultimately you want to get a first down. But it seemed like it was like a hot potato, and I noticed that there was a lot of hot potato. I don't want it. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to get hit. Hey, I don't want to get hit either. And Greg, well, maybe Greg wants to get hit. Because Greg loves physical contact. But Roland and I, we don't want to get hit. But, we're not professional football players, right? And unfortunately, as QB1 now, you're going to have to take some hits. No, he did get hit. I did see him eat some. But I'm just wondering, maybe he needs more time, he needs more reps, but there are reckless plays. And just to answer your question, Greg, there are reckless plays all over the field. And almost every drive, I was cringing.
Yeah.
I was ugh. I was cringing on that pass to Katoy in that first series. They got a field goal. It could have been easily intercepted. Easily.
Yeah. Oh, the one that was tipped that he lobbed up and over.
Yeah, and then yeah. And then there was another one. Sure. It was a pick six. The DB drops the ball.
Okay, hold on. Let's. There's a bunch of comments online, so let's go through that a bit, and then we'll continue.
Huge Benno, hello.
Ashi Minhas says greetings from Manchester, UK. Hey, Ashi. I think this is the first time you've joined us, right? Welcome, Ashi. Had to miss this game in person, but watched here on CFL Plus. Very frustrating game.
Well, before we go any further, is that because it was on CFL Plus? Because I'm still not happy with that network. Anyway, just want to put that plug in. Go ahead, bro.
I think he was frustrated with the game. So, Winnipeg was beatable.
Greg, play nice, man. Play nice.
I am playing nice. I'm still cranky.
Offense sputtered so much. Agreed that Mazzoli was forcing the ball. Yeah, absolutely, Ashi. Then Huge Bano says, gotta think about the future and sell veteran pieces for picks and cap space. This team is going nowhere this season.
Are we talking about the Canucks or are we talking about the BC Lions? Or both?
Oh.
And then Ashi adds, sadly, unless Rourke gets back and is on his game, 1-3 is brewing.
See, I was right. Ashley and I talked before my intro, so Ashley knows I was 1-3. See, that's why. Yeah. It's Ashley's fault.
Okay, then Huge Fan says, I don't want Rourke anywhere near this O-line. The A-gap is an absolute disgrace. sit him out for the year and tank, in my opinion.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa, oh.
All right.
And I thought I was going to say something
Okay.
controversial.
Then Ashley's countering, no one is tanking at 1-2. O-line needs improvement now, forever, and a day. True. And
We've been saying that about the O-line for a long time.
Yeah. Huge Ben says,
I don't think it's the O-line issue
you don't think so?
in this last game.
Well, okay.
Well, I can
We
answer
can talk
Benno's
about
question.
it more. We'll talk about it more.
I can answer Benno's question right now.
So Huge Benno's question, how was the crowd on Saturday?
You don't need the word crowd, Benno, because there had to be enough people there to consider it a crowd, and there wasn't enough for me.
20,000, just over 20,000.
Okay.
It was over 20? I
Just
thought it
over.
wouldn't even come to
Just over.
Oh.
All right, Greg, go on a rant right now, Greg. Go on a rant.
The 50-50 was pretty high though for a small crowd.
Yeah. Well, no, I remember asking both you guys, like, have we even hit? I didn't think it was even 15.
Yeah, so
I
Greg,
remember
go on a
asking.
rant. Like, call out the Lions fans for not showing up.
Yes,
Okay, hold on.
absolutely. Well,
Before you do that, I'll read one more comment.
okay.
Roland, you're a killjoy on our
No.
momentum here, man.
No.
Roland, we gotta get rolling here.
We gotta get the comments and then.
Oh, I don't know, man. We gotta get rolling, man.
Tanya says winnable, but overthrowing the passes was the difference. All right, okay, Greg, you're right.
Well, first off, rant number one. Yeah, I mean, we got there. What were we? 2:00. We were there, enjoying the festivities and everything else. I will say, BC Place has gotten a little bit better, as in the ownership of Mr. Doman, at having the outside pregame festivities being lively. But I gotta say, last week with Snoop Dogg, the season opener with Snoop Dogg, a bunch of people not getting in, and this week we stood at our gate. There was not that many people at the gate we normally go in, and we're like wondering what's going on. So I'm thinking, if I'm Mr. Doman, the only thing I'm pissed at is not the fans. I am pissed at BC Place because I'm paying rent to put my product in there. I am paying rent to have those door people, concession people, security people to take care of my customers, the fans. And BC Place is coming up short. They came up short at Grey Cup time. They're coming up short this time. And, it would be, now I'm starting to understand what some owners mean in other leagues and whatever. I'm going to take my product, take my ball, and I'm going home. I'm moving elsewhere. But BC Place has got to get a little bit better. I mean, what do you guys, it was, we're standing there wondering, can you imagine what 50,000 plus people were standing there wondering, are we going to get in? Has it started? What's going on? Grey Cup, there's 50,000 plus people wondering the same thing. I'm Doman. I'm pissed. BC Place, you suck.
Yeah. All right. Couple of comments. Ashley says paid crowd was 20K, but no way there was that many in there. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did seem like there were a lot of empty seats.
Yep.
Huge Benno says looked like 10K. Lots of fans I've talked to were turned off by Snoop's adult-only performance. Mm-hmm. Amar wants to cater to kids and then pulls that dog and pony show. Not good.
Ooh.
Well, we did, but it was a little risque for family being there. There was a lot of, I was a little surprised with the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know any of his songs, so I didn't know that. So, but I guess if you knew, then you would know that his lyrics were not kid friendly. Huge Brenner says took me an hour to get an adult beverage during the home opener. Yeah, the lineups are huge. Yeah.
I said BC Place. I mean, joke being joke. Maybe they're not used to handling big crowds anymore. But come on, there's 8 doors. What is it, A to H?
Yeah.
There's 8 gates to get at that 50,000. There's like 7,000 people per gate. It's not that hard.
Ashley says BC Place drops the ball on big events. ACDC case in point.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Can I go back to Mr. Mazzoli for just a sec?
Yes. I think we're going to be talking a lot about him tonight.
Yeah.
Okay,
as good a guy as he is and all the crap that he's been through, the rust, is it as much physical rust, play execution, mechanics rust, as it is decision making, mental belief in my own self rust? I mean, I felt a lot of times when he either rolled out or ended up needing to scramble or looking like he needed to scramble, he could have just scrambled a little bit more versus throw that ball away. And yeah, all those high balls.
Yeah.
All I kept seeing was, okay, if McInnes, as tall as he is reaching up and tipping him, like you said, Arthur, has cringeworthy passes. Like pick here, pick there. I mean, maybe he was lucky there weren't more.
Yeah. It's way too high. A lot of the balls way too high.
I mean, this what I'm have concern about Mazzoli is really the ball security. It was like a hot potato, a lot of forced passes into coverage and high, and then he missed some receivers low,
Yeah.
right? So he
Was
missed
that in the
passes.
second half? The
That
second
was
half,
later in the second half. Yeah.
there were a few balls that went to the ground, so he overcompensated, maybe.
Yeah, I get it. There's probably
Yeah.
some quarterback pressures, but the Lions have not given up many sacks this year.
No,
Right?
I honestly, you guys said we got sacked once last
Yeah,
night. I don't
only
remember giving
Well,
up a
there were
sack.
pressures,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pressure.
and he got rid of it, and he
True.
didn't eat it. But he was saying in his post game presser that maybe he should eat some versus force,
Oh.
and instead of like just throwing it away.
Decision rust.
Yeah.
You know, I think that you want to get rid of the ball now, and like I was mentioning to you guys yesterday, it's a CFL. You got to make the quarterback has to make plays with his feet.
Exactly.
If the pocket is breaking down, you're out. You went through your progressions and it's scramble mode. Run for the first down. You have to run.
Yeah.
You don't. If you have a quarterback that does not do that and is not willing to do that, defenses can game plan against you, and you're too static.
Exactly.
So you have to run. Now the Lions have to get a backup quarterback in here that can run and make dynamic plays when all things break down.
Yeah. So Ashi says Mazzoli started okay, then so underwhelming. Move around a bit and create separation. Bad reads and constant high throws. This is rookie stuff. Yeah. So exactly what you're saying. If he doesn't, if he's afraid to run, or if he doesn't want to run, then it becomes one-dimensional. His threat becomes one-dimensional, right?
There's no need to spy him.
Yeah. Huge Bano says the value of a competent backup in the CFL cannot be overrated. Given Rourke's injury history, signing a 36-year-old QB with injury concerns himself is sickening. This falls on Ryan Rigmaiden. I see the point there. Q-Man says 2 sacks against in 3 games. In other years, that would be a miracle.
Got a point.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe the O-line is protecting better. Yeah.
I mean, the O-line is, I would say, run blocking. Maybe they're not up to what Buck and Ryan Rigmaiden want. But from a pass protection point of view, they haven't given up the. Well, like in previous years, one guy gets solidly beat, and the quarterback just takes a sack, right? Yeah. So now it's more pressure. Now, maybe the Lions are devoting more to pass protection, and then they have less receivers, and therefore their passing attack is more neutered because you have more in pass protection. Yeah. But I mean, 2 sacks, stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, that's
and I mean, let's be honest. The last 2 games that we're judging the O-line against are against Winnipeg's D-line, which, so far we haven't seen any improvement. But against Edmonton, the season opener, we looked actually pretty good.
Yeah. Captain Buttershirt, I think you're new to us, this Captain Buttershirt. Welcome. Glad that you can join us. He says we can't seem to tackle worth a damn. So many extra yards given over the last 3 games. Yeah, we saw a lot of that. Although this game, I thought it was a little bit better than the last game. So the second game with Winnipeg, I thought we hustled to where the ball was more, and there were a few places where we were able to make the tackle on first contact. But yeah, I think tackling in general still can be improved on.
And I don't know how many times I said this yesterday. The intensity that we lack intensity on our tackles. We're tackling, but we're not. I don't know. We seemed flat yesterday, even though we kind of hung in there until those goofy turnovers. We just seemed flat and, dare I say, uninterested. Like I think Arthur made a comment that Butler went down on first contact not too easy. And I don't know. Our guys didn't seem to hit. I mean, Alway had a couple, Deontay had a couple, but I went in there with big expectations. But I just wanted, you got embarrassed Winnipeg the week before. Come out and let them know. Hit somebody. Specials started that way, but Oh wow,
Yeah.
this guy's a globetrotter.
As she says, great stuff, boys. We'll catch the rest of this later as I'm off to Paris in a few hours. Cheers and go, Utah. Let's go. Yes. Thank you, Ashley. Have a great flight and
Enjoy
glad
your
that you
time
can
over
join
there.
us tonight. Yeah. So
Let me respond to that, Greg.
Okay.
Let me respond to that. So what I saw is the Bombers are, you know how the Bombers are going to do it, right?
Yep.
They're going to either rush first down and get 5 yards or 4 yards, right? Or do those quick passing plays, then they're second and short, second and 5. The Lions will do a typical 10-yard drop, right? And the Bombers are really good, even if it's second and 7. The Bombers are really good at just curl, get 5 yards, and then get yak for 1 or 2. Even if they're third and 1, they're fine with Shrevler, third and 1, quarterback sneak. And a lot of their drives against BC, they use 3 downs. They get 3 or 4 or 5 yards first down, 2 or 3 second down, and they get that 1.5 third down. And they just do it. In the previous game, that's what they did a lot. This game, not as much, but they still did, they didn't have to do as many sneaks as they actually got the first down, or the Lions held them, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the prior weeks, the Lions actually did a really good job second down, but it was third and short, and then they would convert. I think, like, the prior game, Winnipeg probably had 4 or 5 third and 1 sneaks that they were successful on, right? And then the one yesterday was really close. It was like within a football length, right? It was really close. The Lions did. It was usually Shrevler does it, and it's like, okay,
It's a gimme.
It's a gimme, yeah. So that's Bomber football. So because they do that, our guys are a bit further away in our zone. Now, the Lions, the receivers, they curl because our first down production is not as good. Therefore, our receivers are curling right into their zone. So those guys are going to be more on top of us than our guys on them because of first down production. That's just my theory.
All right. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
To win a championship.
So yeah, Huge Venice says, to win a championship, you need to be able to manage your cap and know the politics of the dance. So far, Ryan Rigmaiden is handing out contracts like candy. Times like these that I miss Bobby Eccles.
Whoa.
Times like these, I miss Rob Murphy and Chris Perez, but unfortunately, I can't turn back time.
Tada says, Mazzoli looked good in short yardage. No need for Rourke to do this. So we found a role for Mazzoli, short yardage.
He saw the hop, right? The little hop that you went right over the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me a little nervous.
But going back to Mazzoli, and we, in order to go deep into this season, we got to have a QB2 that can win games for us. And Mazzoli, the way he played last night, I'm not convinced he can.
Can we afford to give him some more games to try to convince you?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And maybe that's, I don't know what Buck Pierce is thinking. Maybe that's what, because, like second half, Arthur is saying, let's get Bryce in, right? And I was thinking, okay, maybe give Mazzoli another series. And then the series so bad, I said, okay, let's get Bryce in, right? But Buck Pierce hung on to him. So that could be one of two things, right? Or maybe actually one thing. It could be Buck Pierce is seeing something in Mazzoli that maybe we don't. Like Arthur was saying, he's an experienced quarterback himself.
Or maybe he's not seeing something in Bryce.
Oh, well, we did see that report. Bryce was awfuler in practice than Mazzoli was.
That's the one variable we do not know.
That's true.
So out of the two, he's like, well, he has a better grasp than in us, right?
Yeah. Jeanette says, hopefully Rourke will be back for the next game. That's what we're hoping for as well, for sure. But regardless, we still need a decent QB2. So even if Rourke is back healthy now, you need to have a second quarterback that can win games for us in case he needs to be off for a game or two. And I'm not sure. Do you guys think Mazzoli is it?
Not based on yesterday.
Well, I would say this is our weakest quarterback room in the past 5 to 7 years. because we had Michael Riley, and then we had a young Nathan Rourke, right?
Yes.
And then once we transitioned, Riley retired. Then it was Rourke. Oh, but we had Dane Evans.
Yeah.
And like I like Dane Evans better, right? And we had Dane Evans. And then of course when Rourke had a great year, we traded for Vernon Adams, so that was really good. Vernon Adams Jr. and the Vernon Adams. So that was and then we had Dane Evans one more year, right? He came in the second year.
Yeah.
So I think that was really good. And now we were blessed with that. But the other teams have better rooms.
Yeah,
they have better rooms.
Yeah.
Like even Ottawa. Like
yeah.
Drew Brown. Okay, so I like Nate better than Drew Brown, but you got Crum. I think you have Caleb Evans Jones. So they're third, more dynamic. Like he can make plays with his feet. Crum can definitely make plays with his feet, and he actually got the win in Calgary. Jake Dolegala.
Says,
Lucky
it sounds like you've forgotten Jake Dolegala as QB2.
That was pretty bad.
Jake Dolegala. Did he sign? Is he with any team right now?
He was with Winnipeg. Like we cut him last year, and then. Yeah. But that was okay. That was okay. That was Vernon Adams and Dolegala, right? And then Nate came back in mid-year, right? So yeah.
But we have Cameron Dukes, who's still unsigned.
Shea Patterson, Cameron Dukes. Yeah, I did forget about Dolegala. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
You'll take Thomas DeMarco. Wow. That's going back to Travis Lulay, and wow, that I think that was Travis, Mike Riley, and Thomas DeMarco, if I am not mistaken. Am I right, Huge Benno?
But so the other possibility is Buck Pierce is sticking with giving Mazzoli the full game reps to shake off whatever rust is in there, so that he'll be ready for the rest of the season in case we need him again. That's one possibility, right? Huge Bennett says third time's the charm with Casey Printers.
Oh, yeah, no, Casey's busy making his movies.
Okuman says Dolegala is number 3 in Hamilton. Okay, so he is signed. So who's available if we wanted to bring someone in, right? So Cameron Dukes is.
You think you said Shea Patterson?
Shea Patterson.
But again, yeah, I guess they could pick up the playbook quickly. I mean, just different vernacular, right?
I mean, that's where you gotta have another quarterback ready to go. I mean, I don't know. I think they bring people in and they cut them. So your recruitment of getting another quarterback, you got to get another quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to say. I mean, like, Arthur, you were saying a lot of people like Mazzoli, but you got to produce, right?
Well, I mean, okay. Well, how about this? Are we overreacting? Is the Bombers' defense that good?
That's
whatever. Tua, brother.
Yeah. And then Captain Buttershirt. Maybe Mazzoli can find a groove with the O-line, give him more time. Possibly.
Well, I think the O-line, I mean, they're used to Nate's pace, right? And they know how long they need to protect. So maybe Mazzoli just needs to get up to that pace.
A little bit faster. And also he needs to be able to use his legs. Like, Nate can use his legs, right? So it's a balance of the two, right?
I guess we were kind of spoiled with VA and Nathan Rourke
being able to run
in recent memory, where they can make plays with their feet, get a key first down, right, and get some big yardage.
Yeah.
So
why couldn't Nate make plays with his feet against Winnipeg?
He made some big runs. So those are our best offensive plays. Was him running.
But like Zach Collaros doesn't really run either.
He doesn't have to.
Like he doesn't have. Yeah, when you're ahead and doesn't have to. But sometimes when things break down, he'll take off for 20 yards, right? That's what you want, right? It's just someone that's willing to just take off and be fast enough.
Huge Bennett says, "Who's our new OC? Play calling has been horrific. Might be time to bring back Jacques."
Maybe Buck Pierce will fire the OC, which is himself.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Chappie. I know way too much about Chappie. Not the offense I want to see under that dome anymore, ever again.
He was like the spread offense guy, right?
No, he was the throw it to G-Roy guy. Never mind anything else. Oh, sorry. Did I say that? Oh, sorry.
Well,
Anyway,
I mean,
let's
he
move
is
on.
the GOAT.
Move
He's the
on.
GOAT, the greatest of all time. Why wouldn't you give him the ball? Come on, Greg.
Greatest of all times. They gotta have some heart too, man. Okay, the stats don't lie, but man, I'm no, sorry. Receivers got to lay out for me to consider them great. Sorry. Anyway, let's go on. Not the wrong kind of spicy with this show.
All right. So let's stick with the offense. So we've talked a lot about Mazzoli. Q-Man says our offense is number 2 in the league.
How much garbage time do we have in the last 2 games? Like they're up by 2 scores, 2.5, 3 scores, and they just let us march on them via checkdowns.
Are we talking like? Oh yeah, the last 2. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I mean, he's trying to find a silver lining, and Arthur's shooting it down.
Yeah.
I hate the pads stacking at the end of the game. You know, just I'm gonna get 100 yards on checkdowns going down the field, and then you get the obligatory score. And
but it helps in my fantasy. I just need to rub it in with you guys.
I didn't have a Lions receiver.
Not this week.
Padding the stats easy.
Yeah. Okay. So QB, how did our receivers play? It was kind of hard to tell, right? Because the passes were not.
They could not get the separation that Winnipeg receivers got on our secondary. That's what Winnipeg, like they had no room to operate out there. Our receivers. Yeah. Again, I don't know if that's lack of intensity. The game plan, like Arthur says, we curl into their zone. How is it that we curl into their zone and they curl short of our zone based on gaps, whatever? Then make the adjustment. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. And we were getting thrown around like rag dolls yesterday. Every time Winnipeg made a tackle, it was sickening. As I said in the beginning, nauseating and infuriating and downright almost embarrassing. They just, anyway.
I noticed they played a lot of press man. So they're obviously in your face, right?
Yeah. And we can't get separate. Like we can't beat a guy man on man.
Well, the thing is, you just don't know which guy can be beat. You got to go with your projection, and then you might get there's probably pressure, right? And then the quarterbacks have to be better, right? So, and then there's knockdowns. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Oh, there's one silver lining. I don't think we had a knockdown.
That's right.
Might have been.
We might have had one, but not from
Jefferson.
Not from Jefferson. Yeah.
I know we batted one down, which I thought was unique.
Yeah, like that there was one deep pass to Hatcher. That wasn't really a good throw because the defender was all over him. So it was Hatcher making a play out of
Is that a 50-50 ball?
Yeah.
No, I'd say it was a 20-80 ball because Hatcher had 2 guys on him. So
there you go.
Yeah.
But hey, I thought to myself, if he caught that and we score, could that be the turning point of the game? But then we throw an interception. So, you know, it turned the game all right.
Yeah. Captain Butter shares something to jumpstart a bit of energy. Oh, was he referring to
the onside kick?
The onside kick, yeah.
But they didn't get it though.
Yeah. But
my old high school buddy was sitting beside me. Before I forget too, I promised my cousin and my uncle, his dad, shout out to you guys for tuning into the podcast and following us and starting this bro on Lions football back in 19. Anyway, my buddy said, the game was pretty much done and out of reach. And he's like, hey, Winnipeg's got nobody back there. They're expecting an onside kick. Why don't you, since you guys are getting a running start at anyway, why don't we just kick it deep and just foot race? Because Winnipeg's got to turn around. We're already hitting it a run and just see what happens. Worst case scenario, Winnipeg gets the ball way back there. They're stuck way back there.
That's a good point.
They had no one back there. Just boot it.
Yeah.
Because our guys are already running forward, right?
That's the other thing. Our kickoff coverage, like by the time the opponent catches the ball, we're still like 30 yards away. Either make that ball hang a little longer or run faster. Like you can't have the returner catch the ball and the closest Lions is 30 yards away.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Ro, but when they kicked it off, I noticed there was a 20 some odd gap between Winnipeg's coverage and our guy, and they pretty much smothered us pretty quick.
Yeah. Huge Benno says Jordan Younger is a future head coach. He's everything Ryan Phillips was supposed to be as DC.
Well, if Jordan Younger said fast, aggressive, dictating defense, pretty much, yeah, you're right. Because we don't dictate anything. Like I said, defensively against Winnipeg, yeah, we had a little bit better, but maybe Winnipeg underperformed. We willingly handed the school bully the lunch money before he even had to push us up against the locker.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
I want to be a little more graphic, but this is sure is a family show, so I'm going to say handing the school money to the lunch bully. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's a very good characterization.
I mean, when we play Edmonton, I do remember that season opener. Butler had what, 4, should have been 5 touchdowns. We're still not bullyable, and football is a bully sport. You assert your will upon your opponent. Even the teams that we generally beat well, like, I don't know if this is going to jinx us or not, but generally we handled the Albertan teams recently, but we don't bully them. We beat them, but Winnipeg comes around and just kicks us around at will. If they feel like really putting it to us, they do. If they feel like just kind of gently bullying us, like yesterday night, they do.
Gently bullying us?
Well, okay, maybe the defense stood up a little better, but I think maybe Winnipeg decided, you know what? We don't have to have an intricate, exciting game plan because, hey, it's just the Lions.
Greg. No. I think the defense, they showed some physicality. Yeah. I think it's better than last year. I mean, it takes time, right? It takes time for them to
here we go.
Understand the theme. It takes time for them to have that identity, and then it drills into them that they have to play more physically. I mean, most of the team is here from last year, right?
Yeah, agree.
So, you can tell them we want to be more physical. I want you to play fast and play hard. I think it's something that they have to aspire to do more.
Spoken like a true media.
But this is just human. It's just basic human. Yeah. It takes time. I mean, what you're going 100%, like football. Like you're not going 100%. You're going 100. Aren't you going 100%?
Pierce has been preaching, physicality since he came in, right? The whole off season.
He's been preaching, that and the mental toughness.
Yeah. I mean, mental toughness, maybe we're not too bad, but physicality, I think we could still kick it up a notch.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time, man. Right?
It's like to the ball, go hit the guy with the ball. I'm going to throw this out there, and maybe anybody out there listening, to my eye, I noticed that Winnipeg does not engage with their blocks as long as we do. Winnipeg, a guy's getting blocked, he sees the ball carrier, blocks, shed the block, go to the ball carrier. Our guys is like engaging. Oh, there's the ball. Reaction. Now I better try to shed. It's like, I don't know. We just seemed flat and half a step behind. Yeah, they played a little bit better, but I still think that's got a lot to do with Winnipeg not playing as intense or as hard.
Okay, so just to follow up, right? So would it be fair to say where you guys are talking about the physicality is the interior O-linemen imposing their will on the interior of the BC Lions defensive line and into the linebacking core? I'm just wondering, where are you guys talking about this physicality and where it could step up? And I just want to specifically identify a specific component of the defense, like of the BC Lions defense.
There's a few, but yeah, you named one. Being able to run down the gut of the opponent is to me a good measure of physicality, right? It is definitely better than last year. Like that 2-point convert, we ran it down their gut, right? But But
Is that garbage time? Or
yeah,
would you
that was
consider
garbage time. Last week, the short yardage, we couldn't get short yardage, going down their gut. So there's still improvement needed. Receivers blocking, we saw some good examples last week, right? So those are the types of little things where you're willing to engage physically. That we last year was really, really bad. So we've seen improvement, but it needs to go higher.
I mean, just looking at the games, right? Like week 1 and week 3, I think the interior defense stood up, did well.
Yeah, I will say because we were making, our line was the first point of contact with the Winnipeg running back more often than not last night versus the week before. The week before, first contact was generally past our linebackers' starting point.
Okay.
Yes.
I will give him that. But okay. I don't know. I just think, if we want to put it to his position, I think our secondary needs to be more physical.
True. Fair enough. Yeah.
You want a guy, Winnipeg does not, somehow, they're going to have to punch the bully in the mouth and make the bully know we're here. Winnipeg still does not look worried about anything we do on either side of the ball. And maybe that's what grates my craw, is the arrogance, because this team used to be arrogant under that dome. I don't know, but I'm just getting sick and tired of Winnipeg coming in and just doing with us what they please. It makes us this. No, I'm keeping it as a schoolyard sissy.
Oh, come on, Greg. Come on. I mean, I'm tired of losing to the Bombers, but I don't think our Lions are that, right? Come on. I mean, they want to win. They want to win, and they're trying hard, right? Honestly, I'm looking at, you guys want to, week 2, short week on the travel, one practice. The unit's going to be affected the most is both line of scrimmage, and they both.
Blake.
Yeah. So that was week 2. Week 3, much better.
9 days rest, yes.
Much better, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about the secondary not being as physical as the Bombers? I'll give you that, 100% for sure, right? Yeah.
When you say secondary, does that include the linebackers or just the DBs?
No, secondary. To me, the defensive secondary is your corners, your halves, and your safety.
All right.
Yeah. So to me, I thought the interior.
Our front 7
I would say offensively, the interior of our offense line is probably the weakest part of our offensive unit. Okay?
Yeah.
Agreed.
The center and the 2 guards. The 2 tackles are really good. The receivers are decent. Quarterbacks, well, when Nate's in, it's pretty good. Butler's a decent back, right? So those 3 guys in the middle, I don't want to call them out, but I think, it's if we need physicality, and then when we're doing these sneaks, it's really on them, right? If we're if we're going in between the tackles, if we're going off tackle, it's different, right? But we're sneaking ahead, then it's those 3 that have to give us that push.
Yeah.
I agree with Cuman.
Yeah, Cuman says Buck was brought here to beat the Bombers, like Vic Rapp and Eskimos. Matthews was brought in.
Yep.
Yeah, but I agree completely. But even without Buck, Winnipeg still has that culture that he instilled in their offense, right? And I don't know how long it's going to take for him to instill that culture with our offense.
It's going to take a half a year.
Because we're not there yet.
It's going to take half a year at least. Right? They might have to get some new people. He can't. He needs to get new people. Like he said, hey, this is what we're gonna preach. This is what we expect from you players. And if you're not going to do it, I'm going to bring in other people who will.
Yeah.
Right? So you can only change so much. And we have a salary cap, too, that kind of you're kind of bound. Yeah. But they're going to have to get other players, give them a chance, and you coach them up. But, hey, it takes time.
I will say this. The DQ to Corey Woodruff, happy with it. Because he stood up to the BS that he was probably getting held all day long or whatever. He stood up, got him tossed from the game, but I'll take that. If I have to find some silver lining to the game, that's mine.
But he hit an official.
I don't care. I don't care. The CFL official, all due respect to the job those guys do, It was in a scrum. The official decided
This-
to get in there and break up a fight between behemoths. Part of the job. Like I said,
does anyone know what
Wow.
happened? Was it unintentional? Like I couldn't see what happened, but all I heard was that he hit the ref.
well, because what's the call? Physical abuse of an official. Now, if he was standing on the official's foot and they got pushed into the official and the official falls down, because yes, physically the player has to make contact with the official. Now, when Pearson went over to the side, like I said, Pearson was showing the coach a punching motion. Now, was he saying that's what started it, or is that what our guy did to the official? We don't know.
I don't know.
But if he
Greg.
hit the official, okay.
Great.
I'd rather it have been a certain official in there if I want to go. I'm not going to go on record and say that. But
I
at
just wanted
least
to know if he was
stood up
inadvertent,
for
right?
our guy. He stood up for himself.
Yeah.
I applaud that. I
But
find
he
it
hit
weird.
an official, dude. Come on.
maybe
I
he
know,
was
but it
gonna
could
hit-
be
He
inadvertent. We
could have
don't
been
know.
hitting Willie Jefferson and the official just jumped into the run. I don't know. But I do find it odd that the officials just say, okay, you two are disqualified. Go down the tunnel and, okay, you guys good? And they leave them down the tunnel by themselves. Are they going to finish the scuffle? Anyway, but no, I got to say, I was happy that Woodruff stood up for himself and his team, because how many times have we said, how many holding calls is Betts going to have slide before he does something to our fans' eyes as stupid and retaliatory, because he's been held 95,000 times in the game and he's just pissed with it.
Then you hit the quarterback, man.
Yeah, well, it's pretty hard when you're being held.
You're on defense. There's a lot of people to hit. Anyone with a ball, just hit them. Every play.
That hit by Deontay Williams, that everybody's saying was rough play, or he was flagged for rough play. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah. Robert says currently the Lions are not physical enough to beat the Bombers. Yeah, absolutely.
The way Williams hit that Eskimo receiver where the helmets popped off, that is the way I would like to see them hit the Bomber receivers. Because a Bomber teed off on Jackson that way last night, correct?
Yeah.
I did not see any of our guys hit a Bomber receiver that way. I would have loved to. Because that shoulder to the chest, that is clean as day. Okay, yeah, the helmets came off in the Edmonton game, looked worse than it was.
I mean, it's improving. Remember last game there was that receiver that was up in the air. We hit him and he fell on this.
Flipped over.
Yeah. So our DBs are starting to, but yeah, we're still not there.
Well, then wasn't one play that, like, that's when Caleros got sacked, that one of our guys ripped his helmet off his head?
Yeah, I was kind of happy with that too. 'Cause
Isn't
couldn't
that
happen to a
physical,
better
man?
guy.
These guys are, I mean, I think I think the interior, like the defense is rising. I think the defense is rising up.
Yeah.
I think we still have a ways to go on the offense to be physically imposing with like a dominant run game. Of course, the Lions haven't really established a dominant run game yet in 3 games. But I think defensively, apart from the short week, which, I'm willing to, like, that's a mulligan on a short week with travel. But I think the other 2 games,
So
the defense,
analytical he is.
physicality, it may not, I mean, it's improved. And you give me Nathan Rourke of week 2, and you put him in this game,
We
the
would've
Lions
won.
win.
We would have won.
Like,
How many?
Yeah, Nathan on
scoring
9 days
opportunities?
rest, 9 days prep against the same O-line protection as in week 1 though, not week 2 because they were tired.
No, he's saying week 3. So if Nathan was playing yesterday
And
instead-
everybody else
Nathan
played-
was playing
yes.
yesterday, and he brought the
We
game that
would've
he
won.
got 20 points into week 3. We win this game at home.
Yeah, I will go with that,
So, and then
because then maybe he also dictates the way Winnipeg plays. Because if Nate takes us to a lead, that changes the whole entire way the Winnipeg has to play.
Yeah, Kim
Very good
says, yeah,
point. Very
Rourke
good
wins
point.
this game yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's so upsetting, because it was a very winnable game. Winnipeg was not at the top of their game. Their offense was not hitting on all cylinders with Caleros. Maybe he's still rusty.
But
Right.
what point I'll give you, Greg, for sure is Mazzoli's struggling. Yes, we're down 2 scores. A nice physical running game would have helped him out, right?
Yeah.
Yep, where Winnipeg at least thought about the run, maybe not feared it, but at least.
And
We're
if we had
concerned
a
with it.
physical run game, we could still, I mean, the CFL, right? I mean, they're down by 2 scores early, into the second quarter.
Yep.
But I mean, you can still, with a physical running game, stay in the game when it opens up the pass. So I think offensively, physical football, we can't beat the Bombers defense. Is the Bombers defense that good? I mean, maybe we are just not talking enough about how good the Bombers defense is.
No, but you said if we
They're
had
bullies.
we had a decent running game.
We had a decent running game.
If we had a decent running game, we would have won, right? We could have
Or
won.
if at least even Mazzoli scared them with his legs a little bit, or just put the thought into their head. But like you said last night, Arthur, I don't know how many times you said, like, they're keying on Mazzoli because that's all they have to worry about.
Yeah.
Zero in on Mazzoli.
Because it was a very one-dimensional play.
We have to go to our questions of the week.
You and I agree. Well, we agree.
Yeah.
Or we would have had a better...
Okay, so our weekly questions for the Three Down Bros. Roland's Lions Canadian player of the game. Roland is a proud flag-waving Canadian. Who is your Canadian player of the game, Roland?
All right. So Rock was out, so it can't be him. So we're looking at.
Hey, he put in good effort during all his conditioning.
That's
We
right.
watched during he looked good. He looked like he wasn't as sore as everybody says.
He did look good. So we have McInnes, Kotoy, Sean White. We gave it to Sean White last week. So, McInnes has 9 of 13 for 94 yards. Kotoy had 4 of 8 for 51 yards.
Adam Konar had some good special teams tackles.
How many did he get?
4 that I remember. And they were open field tackles because the guy was in space.
Okay. I'll give it to McInnes. Mazzoli was keying in on McInnes and Hatcher all night. But he still got 94 yards. Actually, Keon's not Canadian, but I want to give a shout out to him. He there were a few plays where he looked like the Hatcher of old. Yeah. So that was really promising.
He stood up to his bullies.
Yeah. So yeah, my BC Lions Canadian of the game is McInnes.
Excellent. So, Greg loves the unsung hero, loves the lunch pail, blue collar, big effort. So, who is Greg's Lions unsung hero player of the game?
My unsung hero player, the entire special teams coverage with with Adam Konar. I think his name Adam.
Kevin would love it. His father. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Kevin here as a linebacker too. But no, I got to give him, because again, we still, like Roland says, we still haven't learned to kick within our coverage. We're still out kicking because it's distance versus hang time. If they could just get that trajectory a little bit better, I think we're doing a lot better on our coverage than our returns. But I gotta say, the cover team with Konar especially going down there, because that Winnipeg returner in the week before week 2 for us? Yeah. Right? Week 2 in Winnipeg, he was shifty. And there's a lot of times he could have broken it. And that game, the score last night could have been a lot worse had our special teams not covered well. But an honorable mention out to number 64, Woodruff, for standing in there and not taking any crap from the bomber across from him. Because my pregame thought was be better than the guy across from you, and he was not taking any crap. And he had it, because I'm sure number 5, I mean, two misconducts in the game, number 5, that must be in his player DNA somewhere. So, special teams coverage and honorable mention to Woodruff.
Hopefully he's not suspended, because he did physical abuse of an official.
If he's suspended, then he goes up even.
And I think it's a 25-yard penalty, because it was a 10 yards. I was like, it's a significant penalty. Anyways, hopefully he's not suspended.
Does Willie get suspended for 2 misconducts in a game, or is it just a DQ?
I don't think so. Just a DQ.
Okay.
All right. And Arthur, your question?
My question is the big picture moment of the game. So I can go one of 2 ways. My positive one was Dante Williams. I thought he had a fairly good game. as the Sam / nickel, making some big plays, good coverage, open field tackles. I like that. But I have to address a negative where the organization, the regime, they didn't properly bring in, address the quarterback room and bring in a better quarterback. I think that's really cost us this game. And hopefully Nathan is back. But from what we saw in preseason, I know it's just preseason, and what we've seen in the last couple of weeks, we're in big, big trouble without Nathan Rourke.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if we have a game manager to keep us in the game if we're ahead when Nathan goes out for that game. So it all hinges on Nathan Rourke, and that's a great, it's a good position to have, have a Nathan Rourke in your team, but you need a plan B. And I think the Lions regime needs to quickly and swiftly address this issue.
Yeah. Q-Man says, I think management thought Bryce would take a bigger jump this year. I would agree with you there, Q-Man. Because I think it seems like management has a lot of hopes for Bryce, right?
They do.
Yeah.
But he's not mobile. He can't do the 1 yard, the quarterback sneak. He got 1 yard in the CFL, right, Gregory?
Yeah, a yard off
Got
the
a
ball.
yard, know the play, know the snap count, right,
Yep.
Greg will say.
Yes, sir.
And we can't, he's huge.
Yeah.
Tommy Stevens can do it. I mean, he's probably Tommy Stevens' size, maybe not as tall.
But again, you've got a yard, you know the snap count.
Yeah, but I mean, for Bryce, he can't just do well in short yardage. For him to be
Got
a
at
QB2,
least
you got there's a lot more than just short yardage.
Just like
to
other
be a
players
decent
have to get their
QB2.
start on teams, quarterbacks get their start on short yardage. Come on. It's the hierarchy of moving up.
Hey, that's a pretty low bar if that's
Well, we can't even get that in the last 2 years. Lashley's, how many years has it been where short yardage has been an issue for the Lions?
Yeah. But
Well,
short
when
yardage, I think, has a lot
it
to
went
do.
by the wayside. We started seeing success when we used Mackey in short yardage.
Yes.
But we had the tall, what was that quarterback, Dominique
Davis.
Davis?
Yeah.
I mean, he was tall. I mean, all he'd have to do is reach over the line, and he couldn't get the 1 yard.
But as I said before, QBs get a bad rap for not executing on short yardage. But I think a lot of the blame is the O-line. You need to have a strong push for the QB to get there. I mean, if you're getting contact behind the line of scrimmage, you're not gonna make.
Well, that's that was Roland short. What, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So those are predictions.
Russ, what were our predictions?
Human says Lions should have gone after Tommy Stevens. Yeah, he's doing really good on his short yardage. Okay.
Well, I mean, of this past game, Greg had 23-16 Winnipeg. Roland had 24-21 BC.
Yeah, so I'm out.
And I had 42-12 Winnipeg.
So, what was the actual delta in the score? 27-14. So difference
13
was
points.
13 points. What's the difference between your two predictions?
We can't. I mean, you can call it a tie, but I mean,
Arthur's was a 30-point difference, right?
yeah.
And
And what was mine? Mine was 4, wasn't it?
Yours is
23-19?
7.
Okay. Put it out to the fans.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to
say because
hard to say, yeah.
you know, some people will say it's you have to get the team right, but you can't go over the delta, and
Yeah. We
or
don't
it's
have
its
any-
closest. Yeah,
We didn't have any ground rules, but anyway,
Didn't have any
I'm for
ground
sure
rules.
I'm out because
I think it's more the team that wins. That's
Yeah.
that's the most important thing for now.
All right.
Until we get rules next year.
Yeah. Okay, Q-Man has prediction for next week already. With Rourke, 35-25. With Mazzoli, 25-17 Saskatchewan.
Only one prediction, Q-Man. Only one prediction. We can't do that.
Can't
So
have two.
Will we even have Rourke?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. He looked good
he
when he
looked
was
good.
with the trainer.
He looked good.
But I don't want to rush him back into it. We got to think the long
In
game.
Saskatchewan on a Saturday.
But Saskatchewan had so many penalties this past game. So they were not disciplined. If we can get under their skin somehow and get them to lose discipline again, we could win this.
So who's first this week?
You made me go first last week twice. I've gone first twice
What?
because I won the first week, and then you made me go first again. But I'll go
What's this-
first.
The
I'll go
win.
first.
The winner goes first. What's this rule?
That's what you made. That was I won the first.
I didn't
prediction.
make that. Usually it's a snake, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's usually I have it down in the spreadsheet. Art, Roland, Greg. So
That's you then. You go first.
yeah, well I don't mind.
We got,
As long as we stick to it now. It's whatever you thought is the person who goes first. Because last week you're the third person. You had to go first. That's the way it is. So, and you didn't win the previous week. We all picked BC to win.
my
last
score was
week,
the best.
So
I was closest with score. I'll
True.
take it.
No, you. I mean, no, it doesn't work. I mean, you
That's what
gotta
you-
pick the right team to win, man.
No, that was sorry. Week 1 was I picked the right team to win, and I had the closest score. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
What's our
yeah,
prediction?
yeah. Fair
Let's
enough.
just do
fair
round
enough.
robin then. Like,
Yeah. So,
Okay, with
okay. So,
Ooh.
in Saskatchewan, it's going to be 30-17 Saskatchewan.
okay. You recording that?
Yeah, I'm recording that.
All right. 30-17 Saskatchewan. Who's next? Is it me or Greg?
You, Roland.
All right. So, as I said, Saskatchewan was very undisciplined this week. I think if we're able to study the tape and see what gets under their skin, we could get them undisciplined again.
And Trevor Harris didn't play well at all, did he?
Yeah. Well,
He played underwhelming like Zach Caleros.
Yeah.
But he's been in all year so far.
yeah. No, it'll be in Saskatchewan, so it's going to be tough there.
But AJ Ouellette looked pretty good.
Yeah. So,
And that Saskatchewan defense has good and bad moments. So
yeah, we don't know whether it's going to be Rourke or Mazzoli.
Well, Toronto was able to tie it up against them.
yeah.
on a whole bunch of checkdowns
Yeah.
by Arbuckle.
Yeah.
And
But
one duck deep throw, which was caught. I'm like, oh man.
Well,
But hey, whatever
Hey.
works, right?
Well, yeah,
Whatever works.
no style points there.
Yeah. So I'm still gonna say BC wins.
Of course you are, Roland. You have BC winning every week so far. Why would I expect anything different?
Yeah. Let me see what the score would be. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 2018 for BC.
2018.
Yeah. Robert says Lions looking at a possible 1-4 start with their next 2 games on the road.
oh,
Saskatchewan, Montreal.
see my foreshadowing to open up today's show.
It is possible. It is possible. but
All right,
I'm-
Greg.
I'm being positive. Okay, great.
What's that?
You're.
Oh, yeah. Well-
is it foreshadowing, or are you
Yeah,
just
yeah. No, I'm looking at
you're
a 1 and 3
doubling
split,
down
yeah.
on the 1 and
Yeah.
3 now? You're doubling
and
down.
it's going to be 30. Let's go 34 to 34-13 Saskatchewan.
Oh, you guys are both choosing Saskatchewan. What jersey are you guys wearing?
We both chose Winnipeg last week.
I know.
What was
I
our
want to
record?
go with my heart, but ugh. Because
I
I'm
mean,
guessing.
Greg, you did predict an 11-7 record.
Yep. So we're gonna go 0-7. We'll go 1-7 now. Because I'm thinking even Rourke looking as strong as he did doing those therapy sessions that we watched during the warm up. We don't know, like Farhan said, how he recovered after that.
Yeah.
There was no grimaces of pain on his face, but like Roland said, these guys' pain threshold is much higher than ours.
Yeah.
So we don't know how well he recovered. And again, you're going into Saskatchewan. Do you want to risk him? Read Lisfranc sprain or Lisfranc fracture, whatever happened against Saskatchewan? Or do you want to rest him one more time and go into Montreal, or rest him 2 more times before the next home game here?
Yeah.
So my guess is he's not going to play next week.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think he needs not playing next week.
That's part of my reasoning too. Again, and if Mazzoli doesn't miraculously develop more game between now and then, because it's a regular week now. It's not 9 days because of the short week. It's a regular week.
Yeah.
He's gotta.
I'm hoping.
I don't know. Maybe the
Buck
panic
Pierce,
is out of him now.
I'm hoping that Buck Pierce, with his experience, is able to get Mazzoli on the right track.
So tap into the quarterback whisperer, so to speak.
Yeah. So that's
I think Buck needs to bring a fountain of youth and dip Mazzoli in that fountain of youth.
Dip or sozzle?
Submerge. I don't know.
Submerge.
I mean, hey, we're all old, right? So it'd be nice to be playing your mid-20s, right?
Okay, what's Mazzoli? 36?
Something like that.
Okay, so he's not much older than VA and Trevor Harris. And dare I say, what's Caleros? Caleros are probably a little bit younger.
He's got 2 major injuries, though, right?
Right. And yes, we saw what a year coming after Hatcher came back with a torn Achilles and TJ came back with it. Okay, so Mazzoli came back after the horrific injury, and then he ruptures the Achilles. So we don't know how he bounced back from the first one.
Yeah.
But then he's had a year to bounce back from those 2. He did play, get a win, and he's had a whole off season plus training camp.
But you mentioned who are the quarterbacks you mentioned? You mentioned Trevor Harris, Zach Caleros,
and what is it? VA for age.
Yeah, age.
Because I think VA is going to be 35 this year.
True.
But Trevor Harris is what, 38?
38, 39. Yeah. Well, I would say, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg have good O-lines. So, and they have a methodology that they will run the ball.
Yes.
So that does help the quarterback. VA, you kind of, he's good. When he's good, he's awesome, and he's bad. Yeah. He's gonna have he's gonna have that bad game once in a while.
Yeah,
he had it on Saturday.
And I'm glad, because it doesn't make the Lions that far out of contention. Yes, it's a short season. Yes, whatever.
Yeah.
To me, you're 1-3. To me, 1 and 2. I'm probably gonna. I don't know if the word's panic, but I'm gonna be more concerned than the Lions are letting on. Well, it's only we're only 3 games in the season. No need to panic. Well, you better figure it out sooner than later.
Greg, if we're worried about the Stampeders in this junction, we're in big trouble.
Hey, they haven't shown me. I mean, oh, is he available or did he retire? I'm just throwing it out there. I was thinking of Jake Mayer.
He's a backup in Saskatchewan.
Oh, is he? Okay, I didn't know he. Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, then that kills it, because I thought, do we bring him in if he's available? But,
well.
Yeah.
But anyways,
if I'm wrong, Shea Patterson was in Saskatchewan, was he not?
He was, and they cut him.
Yeah. So
for Mayer. Okay.
Well, yeah. And then they brought in Mayer and Tommy Stevens from Calgary.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's 9:39, so I guess we'll call it a night. Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. Hopefully my prediction trumps you guys' predictions, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so too, Roland.
All right, thanks everyone, guys online. Thanks for hanging with us, and thanks for all your comments. Love chatting with you.
We had global content today. It was great.
It was, yeah. Captain Buttershirt says, give him a thumbs up. Well done. Yes, thank you.
Like and subscribe, please.
Yes, thank you. And if you're catching this after the live stream, you can still leave us a comment on the YouTube video, and we'd love to chat with you then as well. Right, everyone, take care. Have a great week and a great evening, and go Lions.
Go Lions, go.